Welcome to today's deep dive. We're unpacking an April 2026 strategic brief today, and it is all about this massive collision happening right now in the wealth management industry.
Yeah, it's a fascinating brief.
Right, so our mission for this deep dive is to see what happens when a severe talent deficit just crashes head-on into a tidal wave of demanding new capital.
Exactly.
So to picture this crisis, I want you to imagine you're running this highly exclusive luxury restaurant. White tablecloths, custom tasting menus, the works.
Sounds nice.
It is, right? But right at the absolute peak of the dinner rush, 40% of your executive chefs just take off their aprons and walk out the back door.
Which is essentially the McKinsey projection for financial advisors right now. We're looking at a structural shortage of about 100,000 advisors over the next decade.
That is just wild. I mean, 40% of the workforce is just gone.
Yeah, mostly to retirement. And, right as they leave the kitchen, a massive tour bus pulls up out front.
Ah, the great wealth transfer.
Exactly. $124 trillion walking through the front doors. Wow.
And these younger tech-native heirs, they do not want the traditional quarterly review menu their parents settled for. They expect, well, real-time, highly personalized engagement.
So I have to ask, if we have fewer advisors and way more demand, why can't the remaining humans just, work faster, just put in longer hours and absorb it?
You'd think they could, right? But human scaling is actually mathematically impossible here.
Wait, mathematically impossible? Why?
Because of what the brief calls operational debt. If you look at benchmark data from Docupus and Envestnet, advisors are currently wasting anywhere from 28 to 40% of their time on purely manual, non-revenue tasks.
Geez, almost half their time.
Right. So if you're an advisor, think about what that 40% means. You're spending almost 2 full days a week just rekeying data or chasing down signatures instead of actually talking to your clients.
So they're stuck washing dishes instead of cooking. Go back to that restaurant analogy. That is a perfect way to put it, yeah. And because all that paperwork makes account maintenance so expensive, 45% of mass affluent clients are left without comprehensive plans.
Mass affluent meaning like people with solid savings who just aren't ultra wealthy yet.
Right, exactly. Humans just cannot pedal any faster to get out of this capacity trap. The industry basically has to remove the human from the admin process entirely.
But I mean, the software they use right now can't actually do that, can it?
No, because legacy software is basically just a fancy calculator. You log in, you type in data, and you click a button to trigger something like a portfolio rebalance.
So it's completely passive.
Exactly. But the strategic brief outlines this massive shift toward digital employees. And these aren't just suggestion engines. They are agentic swarms with true agency to reason, plan, and execute workflows entirely on their own.
Okay, agentic swarms. I love the term, but what does that actually look like in practice? How is an agent doing the work without a human pulling the levers?
Well, let's take a tax alpha agent, for example. Instead of a human periodically checking accounts, this AI is watching the market 24/7.
Oh, wow.
And the exact millisecond a stock dips enough that selling it would save the client money on taxes, the AI notices.
Like tax loss harvesting.
Yeah, exactly. Once the drop hits a specific mathematical threshold, like say 15 basis points, it autonomously prepares the trade and even drafts the rationale for the client.
That is incredible. I mean, nobody has time to manually track that for every single account.
They don't. And that one function alone rescues over 200,000 manual hours that are normally lost every year.
That's just one type of agent.
Right.
The brief also mentions profiling agents, I think.
Yes, profiling agents are huge. They constantly crawl a client's transactions and social sentiment to keep their risk profile updated in the background. It takes zero human effort.
And then there are the ops orchestrators, which deal with all those paperwork errors, the not in good order files.
Right, Lego stuff. Normally, dumb software just flags a missing signature and waits for a human to fix it.
But an agentic AI actually fixes it.
Exactly. It realizes the signature is missing, checks the database, sees it's a joint account, drafts an email to the spouse explaining the error, and sends the signing link. All without waking up the advisor.
Wow, that must save a ton of back office work.
It reduces reliance on the back office by 40%.
That is massive. So looking at this swarm at work, the human is really only needed for, what, strategic verification? Like acting as the final rubber stamp?
Yes, exactly. When you put all these agents together, the business model totally flips. The competitive moat in 2026 isn't access to advice anymore.
Right, it's capacity liberation.
You got it. Automating that 40% admin load is mathematically the only way a firm will survive to capture this great wealth transfer at scale.
That is such a huge paradigm shift. Well, to wrap up, I want to leave you, our listener, with this one provocative thought to ponder.
It's a big one.
It really is. If digital agents are doing all the deep reasoning, the financial planning, the real-time trading, and the 24/7 monitoring, at what point does your highly paid human advisor just become a friendly matron, a smiling mascot for the AI machine actually running the kitchen?